Hey Switchheads, hope you're all well. Kanan here, and welcome to my review of Tesla Force. But has this top-down twin-stick shooter got what it takes to make it onto the Wall of Fame? Or the Wall of Shame? Or maybe somewhere in the middle. And as usual, don't forget you can click that link below and come join us in our community Discord, where we do some live community streaming during the week, or you can just come along for a chat. That's perfectly okay as well. And as usual, if you like any of the content I'm putting out, well, you know what to do. So without further ado, gameplay. And after a nice introduction cutscene and also an introduction of the controls and how the game actually plays, well, it's a twin stick shooter, so it plays like that. One stick move, another stick shoots. We eventually end up in like a hub area where you get to buy weapons, buy perks, buy abilities, and research kind of different buffs that can put up different abilities and sort of like do things like make them charge quicker and all that lot. From here, if you want to go multiplayer, you can go over to this little thing here, and this is very important because I didn't know it, and me and my wife spent a little bit of time, embarrassingly enough, trying to work out how multiplayer works on this game. We did find it in the end, although I did find it kind of like unnecessarily pointless having that thing there where normally you just click a button and the other person would join in. As you go through the game, you unlock other characters and you can swap between them by just going over to them and swapping your character over. And these are characters like Lovecraft, Shelley, Tesla, and Mary Curie. And you even get to use and utilize a mech. Yep, a big hulking mech that does devastating damage and is always a joy when you get to play with it. And so let's get into the actual gameplay itself. So there's 3 chapters, and moving into the actual chapters you get like a map, and then from the map you choose which area you want to go into, and you go in and you basically fight a bunch of monsters and eventually bigger monsters. And this kind of works well. You have objectives in each of these areas, and this could range from closing rifts, fixing things, and the like. But the meat and bones of the game is simple. You go to these areas, you do the objectives, but mostly of all you blast a load of different monsters from the Lovecraft type universe, and there are plenty here to see and, well, basically kill. The game works as you think, as a twin stick shoot, and pretty coolly the environments can be destroyed as well, or some of them can anyway. As you move on into the game, your weapons get updated, and there are some pretty cool weapons with really cool effects. And don't forget that this is a roguelite, so you will be dying a hell of a lot, losing like perks and things that you pick up on the way, but gaining like a type of currency so that you can upgrade, buy, and do other things in the actual hub I said before. To say that you're going to cause mass destruction and genocide of these creatures is an understatement, and all in a very, very nice looking way, or at least a very bright way. I played this with my wife in multiplayer, and we really did enjoy ourselves, but it kind of like after a while became a bit samey. We noticed that the actual places that we were going to are all pretty well similar to each other. In fact, there are only like a handful of different types of places, and this kind of dampened the fun ever so slightly, which is even funnier when this game is meant to have randomly generated actual levels, although playing it in multiplayer definitely heightened the experience and made it a lot more fun. And that pretty well leads me nicely into the graphics, and I quite like the style. I think the creatures can be a little bit bigger. That would help me to actually see them a little bit better, but the fact that they were swarming and there were loads of them, and I didn't get any slowdown at all on my actual playthroughs with my wife or with myself. And I thought the whole, well, to me, gothic type look of the whole game was pretty cool, and I like that sort of thing anyway, and the way that you go over the top of buildings is pretty cool as well. It all definitely gave that Lovecraft type, ye olden day type look and feel really well. Both me and my wife did actually enjoy the audio of the game. It was kind of like, had a nice little soundtrack in the background, and the actual weapons were kind of like weighty, and you can hear the difference in all the different weapons, and also the creatures, the sounds of the creatures and them dying and all that lot was pretty satisfying as well. good. Absolutely, hands down, love the look and feel of this sort of setting. It is my sort of bag, if you get my meaning there. The multiplayer was absolutely fantastic. We both loved it. We're not hardcore players of this sort of thing, but we enjoyed it. That mech was awesome to use. It's so cool. The bad. We both just had that feeling that there wasn't quite enough, as in the level designs and things like that. They were kind of samey and definitely needed something more as you progressed a lot more. An unnecessary amount of doing something other than just pressing one button just to bring another player into the game was a bit weird for my taste. I can almost see that they did it for the reason of making it sort of like high tech and making everything sort of like gel within that, but I would have appreciated just a button press would have been suffice for us. The score. Straight away, we both agreed on this. It's definitely a high 3 out of 5. We thoroughly enjoyed it, but we found that there were bits that let it down, unfortunately. And as for my alternative, well, I'm going to mention Enter the Gungeon. It's a roguelike like this, but slightly different in many different ways. And definitely worth a purchase after you've done with this game. And so if you've got any comments, please leave them down below. That's where they belong, and I try to answer as many, and if not all of them, that I can. Alternatively, hit that link below. Come and join us on Discord, where we do many streaming things community wise each and every week, or just come for the chat. And with that, if you've enjoyed any of my content, please, you know what to do, because life is better when we switch together.